and welcome to Hardcast, where Chris finally gets to know the reference to this podcast's name as we discuss Harbinger Wars. I'm Humphrey Erm, and with me as always is Christian Claus.
Hello, everyone.
Alright, Chris, well, first and foremost, before anything else, what's your reaction to the first, proper Valiant crossover?
Didn't feel like much of a huge crossover.
Very humble, right?
Yeah, I mean, for that, I guess, Valiant hasn't been hyping it up for me. It's you that's been hyping it up the entire time. I was thinking like Civil War-esque, crossover, with people from all over the place, with everyone just coming in, everyone having something to do, some sort of story to tell, but it's
getting Exo Manowar in there.
Yeah, and then I was just reading it and just nope. No, it was very I mean, now that I look at it, it's the first one, so obviously it's not going to be something humongous like Civil War, but yeah. So next time, Humphrey, why don't you undersell it a little bit?
Yeah, well, I guess it was more about the fact it was the first one rather than that it was a particularly amazing one.
Yeah, but still, I mean, I took this to
So,
mean that it was an amazing one, so I was kind of
well, I
disappointed when I
gotta say
started
the
reading it.
title itself. Well, yeah, but the title itself, I feel, overhypes it. I mean, it's kind of like I was always making fun of with the Civil War trailer.
Yeah,
There's not that many heroes fighting, so it's more like the civil skirmish.
right.
So it is similar here too. Harbinger Wars, like, Harbinger War. It's some people fighting in Las Vegas.
Hmm.
I mean, again, a lot of fighting, but it's feels very small.
It feels like it could be just a normal issue of like one of
Didn't
these.
have to be a crossover.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. So, but overall, then was it? Well, I guess that's a weird thing to ask. Was it? Oh, you didn't regret reading it, but how did it feel like having what's called the first one with the two different comics together, like them actually meeting?
I don't know. I mean, it feels like these crossovers don't really do it for me that much, if you know what I mean. It's just that crossovers in comics seems to be so easy, and I don't know. It's just um I'm just thinking that I'm really excited when there's like a Flash Arrow crossover, or if there's like a Flash Supergirl crossover, because like in the TV shows. Um, and I just thinking to myself like, why? Why do I feel more excited about these TV shows crossing over than these comics? Because I feel that because in the comics, it it doesn't take that much planning or sacrifice to do this because all you have to do is draw that character, you know?
I see what you mean. Well, yeah, you don't have these, actors with their different, what's called, schedules and demands.
Yeah, I
You
don't
don't have the
know.
special effects in terms of that stuff, transportation. Like, it's a lot more going on just to have these two actors in the same room.
Right. I mean, I don't think like when I'm watching Arrow and Flash crossovers, I don't think to myself like, wow, that was an amazing production that was behind this, or a lot of kudos to all the scheduling people to get all this done. Um, but I don't know. I feel there's more of an oomph with like television or movie crossovers, and with the comic, it just feels like they could be crossing over every single time, and there would be no problem because it's just
Mm.
lines on paper, basically.
And
So,
they do often, right?
right. I mean, that's the thing. It's always. I mean, especially with movies or with like the Marvel comics, it's so often that you have someone just appear for like an issue to explain something or just as a cameo. And I like in a comic when you see Iron Man come in to a Spider-Man comic, you're not or like with the animation, like the Spider-Man animated series that we were watching, the newest one, I think
Ultimate
Ultimate
Spider-Man?
Spider-Man, yeah. When Tony Stark came in there, we were like, "Oh, cool, it's Tony Stark." But like that was it. But if it was a movie, I mean, we had that reaction with Civil War. When Spider-Man came in, even in the trailer, people were losing their shit.
Mm.
And
Yeah, but again, it's the first approach in the movies.
exactly, and that's what
You know,
makes
that's
it,
the whole thing there.
and that's what makes it so much better. I mean, with these crossovers here, it just feels like, yeah, they're all the same company. One person is drawing it. There's nothing, special about it except for the IP. And I don't think it's not. I don't think the IP is that important in something like this. It's more the background information, with the Spider-Man being at Sony, or that kind of stuff, and then having him in the Marvel movies. It's just like, yes, that's awesome. They did something for the fans, and the fans want this, and it's amazing. But with the Harbinger Wars, it's just like, okay, yeah. I mean, yeah,
So and
yeah. Well,
yeah, no, no,
yeah.
just
I just feel that, with this thing, I think if they had built it up more in the comics, where they were saying that like these two guys were coming together. I mean, I felt like, I guess maybe there's a problem because we're reading all the comics. I think if we only read Harbinger and stuff like that, and Harbinger and Bloodshot, it might have been more prevalent that they were going to meet up and have a war.
right, because you don't have the others to compare.
Right, but because I'm constantly just going through all these characters. I mean, last time, what would we read? Archer and Armstrong again? Or
Yeah.
yeah. So we
Oh,
had
no. With Exo Man War last
right
time.
Axel and but before that we had
Yeah.
yeah,
Archer and Armstrong.
yeah, so that means we've been having 2 weeks of something else, and I totally forgot about the characters, where they are, what they're doing, and then to have them meet up like that now, where it's like, oh no, this huge thing is happening. I'm like, oh right, yeah, they did say that at some point, 3 weeks ago when I read that comic.
Hmm.
So
Well,
yeah,
that's true. I mean, that is something that's special when you're reading things like this. It's not like a book series where you really have like a complete book.
yeah,
Like I don't know. Let's say we were reading like going through the Harry Potter books. Like every 2 weeks or something. I don't know how fast we read, but it's one complete story each time. And even though it's a continuation, we're not like we're not mixing it up with something else. We're not reading Lord of the Rings in between or some
right,
spin-off with Harry Potter.
right, like every single
So then
chapter.
it's like
Yeah,
exactly, yeah, we're not reading free, yeah, we're not reading like 3 books a week and then getting it all mixed up.
right, exactly.
All right, but yeah, I was just gonna ask then, because as I've told you, with Sony having what's called making the Valiant Cinematic Universe.
Oh, Sony's
So
making
next
those?
year, yeah. Well, they have the rights, at least part of the rights.
Huh.
There's also some Chinese investor.
Ah, okay, yeah.
Well, with them not getting everything for Spider-Man and all their other things, they gotta try something.
Right.
I
Okay.
mean, Sony's doing really badly, but that's a different
That's
topic.
yeah.
But I'm like, wow. I mean, I almost want. I kind of want to see the Ghostbusters movie, partly just because I'm curious, and also I have no like connection to the property, so I
Yeah.
don't feel betrayed or anything.
Apparently it's really
But also
good.
partly pity. I feel bad for Sony.
Wow. Yeah, apparently
No,
Ghostbusters
but I
is
mean they're
really
like,
good.
oh really? I haven't heard a single thing. Oh, well,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
that's we can talk about that another
yeah,
time.
some screenwriters that I was then following on Twitter, they were someone said something about the movie, and then this other screenwriter was like, "Oh, we can talk about this now." Okay. And they just started raving about this movie, how amazing it is.
Cool. Well, again, like I say, I don't have any problem with it, so I just want to kind of see it myself and then
Yeah.
maybe write a Robot Keith article on it.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, we both don't
I can
care
see the
about
title
Ghostbusters.
already. I was wrong. It's terrible.
Yeah.
No. Anyways, but yeah, what I mean is this is what their 5-picture deal is, though, with Sony.
Hmm.
They're making 2 Bloodshot movies, 2 Harbinger movies, and then they're gonna have their Avengers, which would be this Harbinger Wars.
Seriously, that's how.
Do you feel?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Ask the
Yeah, so
question.
that's what I'm curious about then. So it's basically gonna be the first 2 volumes of each, and then this book. And again, ignoring whatever changes they're gonna do and adjustments for both in terms of what they're deciding to do with the cinematic universe and logistic issues and all that stuff, and even creative ones.
Mm.
How do you feel this would be a satisfying, romp to watch?
No.
So assuming everything else is like okay, it's not like
Yeah.
you've
Well.
been like annoyed.
Okay. Well, let me elaborate a little bit. I mean, so you said that they're making 5 movies:
Yes.
2 Harbinger, to Bloodshot and then the Harbinger Wars.
Yes.
That's bullshit. Why okay, all right. Okay. Why are you making two movies of the same character twice? I just don't understand the logic there, because so what, you're so it's going to be like it's going to be Bloodshot first, then Harbinger, then Bloodshot, then Harbinger, and then Harbinger Wars, or what?
Yes.
Okay. I'm just wondering if there's enough story to tell,
I think
because
there is. I mean, considering, remember, Chris, we're in a time where Hollywood makes movies that are called that end with part one.
yeah, I know. That's not the problem, but I mean, a lot of these movies that are called Part One don't do too well. I mean, like take the Hobbit movies. None of the fans are actually happy about the Hobbit movies being strung out like that, and I think it's very risky to, because I don't know. I mean, I think it has a lot to do with the history of the comic, because you have, like, say when Iron Man came out, they had so much story from Iron Man to take from, because he has a huge history of stuff to base a movie off of. In that sense, they weren't scared of running out of material, so they packed that movie full. Like, it was completely dense with all these reference, all these things that you could do without having to worry about, like, ooh, but what about the second movie? What are we going to do there? And I feel like with this one, with Harbinger, they don't have enough stuff where they could say, okay, we have enough for two movies that we can really fill each movie. So they're going to start stretching it out, and then it's going to start feeling unauthentic. It's going to feel, you're going to feel the stretching out of it. And I feel a lot of viewers are going to get bored with the movie. Like the layman viewers, the people who don't know the comic, who are just going in to say, like, hey, this looks like an action movie, let's go watch it. And they're going to sit in there and be like, ah, man, this is really slow and boring. And that, I think, will be a problem. And I mean, I that I hate saying that here's what I would do better, because if I
like that.
I know you like it, but I just don't like it, because I feel like I have no right to say what I feel is better, because if I knew what was better, I'd be working in that industry. But my thoughts are on this, because this is what this podcast is about. My thoughts are just that if you take the basis of Harbinger Wars and add some more characters to it, like, say you have the 5-movie deal, all right? You do Harbinger, or you just say we start with Bloodshot because he seems to be the easiest jumping on point. Then we go to...
Oh, that is the one they're starting with.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I said, yeah. So then they go to Harbinger, which would be like an X-Men type movie, which will end then... And then we could even change it up a little bit, where everyone meets in the academy instead of everywhere. I mean, it depends on how you would do it. Maybe not everyone, maybe just a couple of them, whatever. But the idea is that at the end of Harbinger, we know all that team, the Renegade team. Then we start with, I don't know, maybe let's do Exo Manowar, or let's do the Eternal Warrior, or the word line
Shadowman?
Shadowman, that'd be cool. No, but
Ninjak?
Archer and Armstrong, or Ninjak, anyway.
Ah.
But the idea is just that, do 2 movies with other characters, and then change the setting of Harbinger Wars a little bit, with Exo Manowar on Harada's side, for example. Just, I mean, we'd figure out some sort of way to explain why he would be on his side, or why he was recruited, or anything like that. But just to kind of tie it up a little bit, because that way, I don't know, it would feel more packed, it would feel more dense. It wouldn't be boring. It would be action. There would be something to do all the time. Yeah. So that's
I don't know. I mean, part of me is simply the fact, since I've read ahead way past. So personally, I feel there is a lot of material anyways.
Yeah, but in the future,
and
but not up to Harbinger War.
Yeah, no, but you were talking before about how Iron Man has a lot of history, using a lot of materials. So I feel there's plenty of stuff they can add in if they need to beef it up somewhat.
Yeah, but they're kind of
Like
but they're
add in like more like sort of not. Hmm?
they're restricting themselves now by saying that they're going to do Harbinger Wars. Because the thing is with Avengers, when that came out, they didn't say that they're going to set it, specifically on a certain Avengers comic. They said that, look, we have our characters now. Let's just bring them together. But with this one, they're saying no, we're going to do Harbinger Wars, and that just restrains them. They can't do certain things. Like what happens if what happens if Bloodshot does really well, but Harbinger just tanks? Then they're going to sit there and go
Well,
like,
that
well,
that would be my
shit.
only concern.
Yeah.
Well, that would be my only concern in that sense. What's called? It seems like they kind of want to go the Iron Man route with both properties. So in the sense, you know how Iron Man got a sequel before Avengers came
Yeah,
out.
yeah, I know.
So yeah, no, but what I mean is, it does seem a bit risky. I mean, I like that they're going with those two properties, but going with two sequels to them right afterwards, without knowing how they go.
Yeah.
I mean, they might be, Bloodshot might be more of their Hulk.
Yeah.
Like they let the characters good, but his movie wasn't, the greatest. But they were really want to use the character for something.
Exactly. And that's what I mean is that they're by saying, this is the kind of thing with like with DC as well. I just really didn't like when they brought out their entire lineup before they even brought out another movie.
Mm.
I mean, because the thing is, everyone wants to be Marvel right now, and they can't be Marvel without doing what Marvel did. And what Marvel did takes time.
Again, I used to agree with you, but the more I've seen some other like ensemble films afterwards,
Yeah.
so like what's called, we watched the first X-Men, for example, a little while back.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember mentioning how when we watched the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, how that basically was like the Avengers. In terms of just setting up all these characters in
Yeah.
one film.
Yeah.
I feel they could have done it a lot better than how they did. So, because the thing is, especially with the characters they have, we know them. You'd only need like the most basis of, the most basic of introduction, so we get them. And if we can just hit the ground running, and again, not in terms of like, oh, like, oh, as you know, this is going on, and more like, oh, cool, this cool guy, in the water, and oh, Flash, oh, but it's different from the TV show, and you can just have things happening. I think people will just kind of roll with it, so to speak.
Yeah, but my problem is that when they come out with 20 years of movies that they want to do without even having Batman versus Superman come out yet. I mean, they had Man of Steel, and that was already a huge debate topic where they were like, oh shit, how do we do this, right? And then they were like, yeah, here's the next 20 years of movies that we're going to make because everything is going so well at DC. And then out comes Batman versus Superman, and suddenly they're like, oh shit, now what? No one liked that movie. And now,
Yeah.
no, but you want to see what I mean is that now they need to deliver, because now they said, look at all these movies we're going to bring out, and now we're like, now I'm sitting here going like, well, now you better give me Aquaman because you told me you're going to give me Aquaman. But the thing is, they're trying to push it so quickly, and I'm kind of worried that Valiant is doing the same thing, where they're just slowly, or they're saying like, okay, well, we'll bring out the first movie, and then we're going to bring out the second movie, and they're both going to be really successful. They're going to get sequels, and then we can bring out this huge ensemble between these two properties, but they have no idea how it's going to test at all, or if it's going to test well, if it's going to come across well, if people will even like it. And they can have I feel like they can have their 5-picture deal with Sony, but don't tell everyone about it. You can take it back and say, okay, we've got a movie with we've got a movie with Sony, and we're going to make it a Bloodshot movie because that seems the best jumping on point. We'll see how that develops, and then we're going to maybe continue obviously add a after credit sequence with Harada coming in or whatever, something to kind of allude to a sequel if there is one. Because with that one, at least you leave it open ended, but it doesn't have to continue. You know, because I don't know. I just feel like everyone's like, well, let's just do what Marvel does, but they're not. They're jumping up in the middle of where Marvel is. Like, it's like Marvel's sprinting right now, and everyone else needs to get up to speed first. But they're trying to fly in with a helicopter, fly down low, dropping them off, and they're trying to run at the same speed as Marvel is right at the go. But they start to fall, they tumble, and they face plant, and they just you can't do it because then they sit there and go like, we did the same thing, but it's not working.
Oh well.
Yeah.
So well, to be honest, I actually wrote this down as its own point.
Yeah.
But I really just want to see the Harbinger Wars movie because I want to see the live action Harada versus Bloodshot fight.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, wasn't that amazing? Wasn't that cool?
Yeah, it was pretty awesome. I mean, you mean the one in the desert, right?
Yeah, and that like little ghost town where you set up a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, with the
just something,
the face splitting and the puking.
Yes.
Oh man.
If I could see that, I like when I saw that first time I read it a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
So when I saw like Jesus, like, but it looked so good too. Like
it looked really good.
Henry really, like I could kind of see what was happening. I always find it amazing when visually you can showcase like fictional thing. And it feels like believable.
Right.
Like it really felt like, this wasn't like, oh, it was, like scratched off his face or, or surgically removed. It looked like some kind of invisible force, like tore it off.
Right. Yeah.
Yes, this like, psychic blast he must have shot at him. And it's like, and then kept like that for so long too, just looking really cool.
Yeah, it looked really awesome.
And I also felt that the fight was like a good fight,
right?
Because otherwise that's often what happens when you have like different power level kind of characters.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be a lot of these times where the fight feels kind of well, why didn't Spider-Man just do that, or well, why didn't he do this? Flash, why didn't he just run up and throw away the gun in his hand? But here I felt it was like, you know what? This made sense. Like, it was very clear, of course, that normal weapons did not work on Harada. I mean, he could, just make them move, turn around and shoot him back.
Right.
But with the whole, with the fact that he's, this like nanomachine filled, he can't be mind read or controlled. So that's immediately an advantage on Bloodshot's side. And then the whole fact, healing as he's, trying to destroy him. And then I like that the Harada protocol. I would so love to see that. Having that guy Kosal talking about it in the movie, and just having it like kind of narrated on top as it's happening, just like, ah! And even that whole thing with, and then we release all these happy drugs into him so that he wants to do it more. Just him beating up Harada, where he loses his like young self, so becomes his true like old man self.
Yeah. That was impressive. I totally forgot about that whole thing.
Yeah, and he's laughing. I just love it. Just like. I don't know, I so want to see that scene in live action. Again, not to say that the comic, that would make it better in that sense, because I always hate when, like, yeah, now we can do it like the way it was supposed to be.
Right, yeah.
The comic version is fine as it is, but just seeing it in motion, it's just like, oh, I just want to see that. It looks so cool. Anyways, yeah. So to me, regardless of the quality of the movies, if they can get that scene in there and get it right, like, that movie will be worth it for me. I'm easy to please.
Yeah, yes you are. I was actually going to comment on something, but I totally forgot I lost my train of thought.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's fine.
I'm sorry.
No. I mean,
maybe Sayath was in the movie.
Yeah, I was going on long enough about all this stuff. Oh yeah, no, I remember. I just wanted to discuss that part of the plot structure of the of the
with the
volume. Pardon, with the what?
Yeah, do you mean the framing device
Yeah,
within,
the framing
8 days
device, yeah,
later?
or 9 days later, or whatever it was. But yeah,
Yeah.
it was. I personally didn't really like it. I feel,
Really?
yeah, I don't really like those kind of things where someone talks about it
I
because
think I think a story should kind of start when it starts,
no,
like have
not
it begin.
not really, but I just
Yeah, Rick and Morty.
yeah, no, yeah. But it's just it feels like with this one, and I know it sounds weird, but it's the it feels like it was just way too much to read, and I want to see more happening, and this basically goes into that whole show don't tell thing because they were telling a lot of things that I maybe wanted to see. I mean, I can't think of a specific example right now, but there's a lot of stuff where they just explained away something that could have been done in like 2 or 3 pages with a sentence. And I mean, obviously, when comics, that's fine because you have a certain length. But I would hope that in the movie, that if it does come out, if it is successful enough to come out, that they would then show everything. I mean, you could have these people talk about it. Like at the beginning, you have them sitting in that room talking, okay, well, what the fuck just happened, kind of thing. And then they start talking about it, and then the movie starts, but they don't go back to them until the very end when that whole thing about where they kind of like set up the next part. Because I don't know. I just don't, I don't like the going back to them and them talking about stuff that happens and then goes back over just because they have this, it gives them a way to very easily give exposition without it sounding weird.
All right.
It's kind of like voiceovers, I feel, because voiceovers in screenplays also is something that you really do anymore because it's a cop out in a way of,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, some things you need to do in voiceover, some stuff it's good to have a nice voiceover in the intro or whatever, but it's used so often just for cop out to give quick exposition that you couldn't otherwise write into the story because it would end up with, as you know, so
Yeah, no, I get that. But the thing is, and this was a point I wrote down as well, I really like Kozol.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
I feel that's kind of made it work some more. I mean, if it was just boring characters, I'd agree. But I don't know, there was just something about this guy with so much power and responsibility just being such a jackass.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, so 50 hours in and you decide to give a courtesy call?
Mm-hmm.
And just and then they're playing it. I could really see that do well.
Yeah.
Just the whole, hey, yeah, we kind of got some psyops in Las Vegas. No problem. We're just gonna. And I don't guess the whole style of him, and even I could somehow even hear the voice, like the intonation. It's just kind of so. Thank you, gentlemen, madam.
Yeah.
I don't know, just something like I could just sort of see this. I don't know, this slimy, sleazy, awful person, and in the end, he sort of gets away with it and more.
Yeah, he becomes the CEO.
Again, what was it? Yeah, what was it? I actually have it up here. Let's see. There we go. Right, yeah, and $116 billion into the company.
Right. Or to build the company again, yeah.
Yeah. Which, and I gotta say, it actually makes sense to me. Because, there's a huge problem here, and even though they did badly there, the problem's still there, and these are the only guys who we control, who have any resources or knowledge to, help it.
Right.
But yeah, that's kind of. I don't know. I see your point regarding the framing device, and at some points I was getting a little bit confused because then they had to change the days later as well.
Right.
Because we were going further ahead in time.
Yeah.
So I was thinking too much about that sometimes. Wait a minute. So now it's 7 days? No, right, because we're now ahead.
Yeah, and it was always from now. I'm like, wait, so when is now? Like, it should have just said.
Yeah, the day cycle wasn't very clear.
Yeah, it should have also said later, like 5 days later. not from now, because I'm thinking like, wait, from now as in what I'm seeing now, or because that was the first thing we saw. So I mean, if they had said something like 5 days later, I'd be like, oh, okay, so this is in the future. But because they said 5 days from now, I was like, wait, so when is now? Is now, or is now in the future 5 days from a different now? That, like, wait, and see, that's what I mean, is that I was confused right off the bat from the first caption. So I don't know. I mean, yeah.
No, I agree. That part wasn't very good, I think. But I feel like Kosal made it enjoyable in that sense.
Yeah, it was a fun character.
So, but yes, speaking of like fun characters and new characters, we kind of got two what's called sets of them. So, would you like to talk about Generation Zero first, or Hardcast, or Hardcore?
Hardcore. Oh my god, I just got that.
What?
Oh, fucking Hardcore.
Oh, you didn't get that?
No, because I saw it written down, and I read it as Hard Corporation. Because it's Hard Corp.
No.
But I totally forgot, or I didn't realize that you pronounce corp as
like the Green
core.
Lantern Corps.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I know that you pronounce it that way, but I just read it as corporation, and I was like, oh yeah, so it's a corporation. I didn't even think about hardcore. Jesus Christ, that's so stupid and so awesome.
Well, that's why they have the line there that I really like. Hardcore, Mr. Kosal? Let me guess. Rising Spirit is run by a bunch of frat boys.
Yeah.
So, and this is something I wanted to bring up that I wrote down just to show off my what's called nerd knowledge.
Okay, here we go.
This is the only thing that, because as you know, this is a reboot.
Yeah.
What's called the Valiant universe. So, everything's happening from the start again. But this actually sort of gives the impression of having had some of its old history back. Because again, Valiant was a 90s publisher.
Mm-hmm.
And they're kind of like, I feel they're kind of referencing that here with Harbinger Active Resistance Division, Strike Team Sir, is decommissioned in the 90s.
Right. So that guy that they kind of picked up?
That's actually the guy from the original.
Oh, that's awesome. That's actually really cool.
So, well, again, it's kind of an interesting way of keeping a history, so to speak.
Yeah.
Without, making it feel like we're missing something. This is more about like, gotta get the gang back together.
Yeah, that's actually really cool. Nice, like an idea there. Yeah.
Yeah, on a meta level.
But yeah, let's start talking about hardcore, because at least they were interesting, not like the other ones.
So, okay, yeah.
All right. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what to say about it.
What about the whole power set thing?
I like that. I mean, it's an interesting... it kind of feels a little bit like Archer with... but, he does it kind of intuitively and from a mystical kind of background.
Yeah, and limitless.
Yeah. With them, I think it's interesting because they're dependent on someone else. And as you saw, as soon as they didn't have that connection anymore...
Lifeline.
Yeah, they didn't have their lifeline anymore. It worked. They were still strong. Like they were still tactical. They knew they know their stuff, but without it, they're pretty much out of luck. And I like that
because they're trained soldiers.
Yeah, so they have skills. They know how to use their skills to fight and stuff like that. But this lifeline really gives them an edge up. And I really like that idea that it seems like I don't know if there's a limit on stuff that they have, but, they had a lot of stuff, shields and invisibility and true sight. I mean, that was interesting. I mean, I was even confused at first.
I liked it a lot. I liked it a lot too. So and I guess it's limit as well. Only one power at a time.
Yeah.
So it's just this kind of nice, it forces this cooperation and stuff like that. Someone could like be a shield and then stand in front while the others, can like shoot from behind or something.
Yeah.
Or maybe someone's flying and then holding the other guy. It's, I don't know, I feel there's a very cool thing about the concept. And I actually wrote this down as a point. Wouldn't this make for a really awesome like co-op shooter game?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. The question is just kind of, I mean, it does sound really good. I mean, just when you were saying about the whole thing, one person could be the shield and the other people were shooting from behind. It kind of reminds me of Overwatch. Yeah, because I
Mm.
guess there's a character there that has a shield, and the other people usually hide behind them and shoot. But anyway,
Yeah, Reinhardt, I think his name
yeah.
is.
But it's kind of interesting. I mean, I feel it would be kind of cool with this kind of game where if you went into the underground and you didn't have a connection, a mobile phone connection, you couldn't download anymore from Lifelink.
That could be
So
interesting,
you could
yeah.
have
Or
you
maybe
could
even having like a weapon that does that, like a little EMP thing or
yeah,
something.
yeah. I mean, I think that would be kind of cool. Um,
Yeah, I was just thinking like with all these powers and stuff, and then you're choosing your weapon loadout in the beginning.
yeah,
Then you're just like, all right, go, 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 and again, you're strategizing amongst oneself.
yeah, yeah. That sounds actually kind of nice. That could be maybe a hardcore game. It would be called hardcore
Mm.
gaming.
Exactly. It's not for casuals.
Exactly. Um, yeah, I mean, I love those characters. I mean, I'm pretty sure that they're not the only team, right? I mean, they're not the only people in that group. I mean, I'm pretty sure that there's like a lot of other people. So they're not gonna like die out in some sense, will they?
So, well, I don't want to spoil or anything.
All right,
So, because
okay.
there's all right, we'll keep it there. But yeah,
Yeah,
again, cool concept.
yeah, it's
Actually,
very
pretty
cool.
cool character with that main guy.
Yes,
What's his name now? Charles? Charlie?
so something like that. I don't pay attention to names. I'm so bad at them. I do have to say that whole picking up.
No, Charlie Palmer. That's
Yeah,
right.
so the thing about where he was picked up by that helicopter, Jesus, that was so
Very cliched.
that was so cliche. I mean, damn.
I let that. I left. Well, so I left that behind. Your country needs you.
Okay.
Damn it. All he needed was a wife and kids in there.
Hmm.
Like, Daddy, get inside, Josephine.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
Yeah,
when
it's
When
short
South
though.
Park does it in a parody way, then you know it's been done too much.
Mm. But it's nice and quick though, so I think the cliche helps. So it's like we get it. Like, okay, it's over with.
Yeah,
Like you're coming back.
it's like pulling off a band-aid. Just do it quick and then it's done. All right, let's do the cliche. Come
All
on,
right.
quick, 2 pages and then done. That's what it says in the script.
All right, but then what's called since you like the hardcore.
Mm,
But what about
I
you
do
said you
like it
weren't so happy
hardcore.
about the Generation Zero?
Nah, I mean, maybe it was just a little bit too much at one point. I
Too many powers?
Yeah, too many powers, too many people. I lost the overview very quickly. Those twins are really ugly. Um, like no, seriously. I mean, there was this one point where I was looking at the I think the girl who came with them. She had I thought for a second she was just drawn really weird. Like her chin looked off, and then I just realized she just looked like that, and I felt kind of bad.
Mm.
But
So yeah, is it like what you say? Like what? Are you retarded or something? Yes, I am. Oh, geez. Oh, I'm sorry.
well,
No, but that's the kind of thing. It's like,
yeah,
damn.
yeah, you kind of make yeah, but I mean it was with this character. I mean I can't remember what page it was on, but it was when they were kind of escaping, and um, I don't know. It felt so weird. The angle, I guess I don't know. Anyway, but yeah, I kind of lost the overview of who is who. They all had very bland names. They didn't have any code names or anything like that. They all looked very similar. For me,
Really?
yeah, I mean, because like I mean, obviously you had Christian and that girl, the the leaders, but all the kids were just like for me it was just a group of kids, and the thing is I kind of maybe later I mean like Shadow when she got killed I was like oh who's that like I didn't even
Mm.
realize who that was, and you know that was I think the first time I ever really focused on her. Um, now that I'm going through the comic again, I can see that there were some panels where she's like in the background and stuff like that, but she was never, from I felt at least, never really enough in the foreground that I recognized her. And then for me, it's like, okay, there's a shirtless dude, there's a girl with some powers. There's just way too much stuff going on where, yeah, I just lose the overview. And yeah, that's pretty much it. They all have orange clothes
But that
on.
I can agree with.
You know, I mean, there's some
But
people.
I can agree with.
Yeah,
It is a lot of characters introduced.
yeah, and I mean, there's some people that you do recognize, like Isaac, because he has that glow around him, so that kind of makes him different. But I've really have started recognizing that you need a superhero costume or some sort of symbol or something that people know who you are. Like at the beginning of I think the second issue in this volume, when Peter was talking to the monk, I had no idea that was Peter.
So in the second issue?
The second issue of at the beginning of this, is that, no, it's the first issue still. Page 20.
He's the vision.
Page 22, yeah. I didn't even realize that was him. I mean, because again, I guess it's a new artist as well, and he just drew him a little bit differently.
Yeah, they mixed it around a lot here.
Yeah, they did, and
so they had like 3 artists.
Yeah, and I had no idea who this guy was, and I thought like, wait, who is this now? Is this Peter? Is this not? Because it looked so weird and so different that, yeah, I really had to. If he had some sort of symbol on him, I mean, I can recognize Bloodshot anywhere because in any way they're drawn anything.
But he's very recognizable. Yeah.
Exactly, and the same thing with Torque. He also has a certain look to him, but Peter is just so bland. Brown-haired white dude. And
that's how we know he's the hero,
right? And even with Christian, he's just the blonde-haired white dude. And yeah, that there's no. I mean, it kind of makes a lot of sense now that in anime they always have ridiculous hair, because that's the only way that you can keep them apart from each other.
I wonder who the protagonist is.
Right. But seriously, it's this kind of stuff. Like,
I gotta say,
yeah.
Yeah, no, I see your point, and I agree in the sense of getting all these characters introduced so quickly and all that. But I have to say, I was very pleased with their introduction of these Generation Zero characters. Because they all have either these what's called uniforms or these like prison outfits or whatever they are.
Yeah.
I also really impressed with Clayton Henry managing to give so much variation with what was allowed.
Yeah. I mean, the variation
even like the psychic girl with her twin brother. Very odd looking, but to me that helps because I recognized them then.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is,
he definitely doesn't have same face syndrome.
No, he doesn't. I mean, but I feel like these kids, because there's so many of them, they start to meld together, if you know what I mean. I'm not looking at them as individuals anymore. I'm looking at them as groups. Like I'm thinking, okay, this is group.
Crowds.
Yeah, this is this group. This is this group. This is the group with Bloodshot. This is the group with Harbinger or with the Renegades. That's all I'm thinking of them now. When they come out up front and then they start talking and they start bringing the plot forward, then I'm like, oh wait, what group are they from now? And then I figure out later, okay, they're from this group. Okay, good. All right, then I understand who they are. But if there's some sort of like surprise power that they have, where they bring something out, it's never a surprise to me because I'm like, wait, who is that now? That's my first reaction to any time anyone does anything of those kids. Because they just become. I mean, again, I don't know if this is just me. Like if I'm just, like if I just don't care enough about.
It's just you.
Yeah, probably. Okay.
No, I mean, no, I think you have a good point about it, but I don't know, maybe because I was rereading it and I know the characters from later as well.
Oh, okay, yeah, true.
Like I can give what's called not really a spoiler, just an announcement. They're actually coming out with a new series from Valiant, focusing on Generation Zero.
Oh, okay.
So around now, so this is like several years after what we're reading here.
Wow.
So, but what's called, and again, they kind of thin the herd at the end.
Yeah, they do. I mean, good because then I don't have to
Actually,
remember
I gotta
names.
read this up because I was so happy about it. Yeah, just a question I had here. Violence-wise, we get several shots, pun intended, of child psyops being killed, rather graphically. So did this bother you at all, or did it fit with the tone of the overall property?
Uh, I feel like it fits. I mean, people are dying left and right in this series, and I think that they're trying to be more quote unquote realistic in a sense that yeah, I don't know.
I was thinking like page 81.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, normally to sort of like, I guess, save the cat or humanize the character,
yeah,
you'd have it be something like, oh my God, they're just kids.
yeah. Of course, but
Maybe and then maybe the other guy, I think Maniac was his name.
yeah,
Then he'd take the shot, because he didn't care.
right.
Yeah, so we like Charlie Palmer would be more like, the good guy.
Yeah, yeah.
But no, it's like true sight. Oh, there we go.
Yep.
And again, no like remorse or anything. I mean, it's like, they shot down, like an adult. I
Yeah,
mean, yeah, they're dangerous kids,
yeah.
but it's still like, wow.
Well, I mean, that's
They
the
did not give a fuck.
yeah, but that's the kind of thing that they're dealing with something that we can't really, in some sense, understand. Um, because I mean, that's what their job is. Their job is to kill or to neutralize the threat. And if the threat is a child, then the threat is a child. There's no question about it. So I mean, that's probably what they're thinking, and yeah, that's up to them.
So yeah, no, exactly. Again, I didn't wasn't like, upset about it or anything. I'm never reading Valiant again.
No, I mean, because again,
But
I mean, this kind of
it is
gets
something I was thinking about because
it kind of comes to your point about just that these are lines on paper. I mean, obviously, you don't want to think about real children getting shot in the head by military
mm,
police or something like that because that's horrible no matter what. But that's also because we're also in a different reality. We don't have these powers. We don't have children who have uncontrollable powers that could devastate the world or whoever. So it's a different situation. Who knows? Maybe the laws would be different if we had actually psyot characters in this world, and especially children who have powers beyond their ken. And then yeah, maybe they need to be executed for the safety of mankind. I don't know. We don't live in that world.
mm.
But I think from a comic standpoint, especially I mean, we've seen a lot of stuff happen in this comic, with Bloodshot's face being ripped open and throwing up on another guy and him turning old. I mean, seriously, a kid getting shot point blank in the face. It's not, I mean, it wasn't even that graphic in that sense, if you know what I mean.
No, I just like a little line going through with some
Yeah.
blood.
And personally, also for me, it didn't even bug me because I didn't know the character. I mean, for me, that was the first time I actually noticed the character, and then she was dead in the second panel I saw her in. So I was like, okay. It said
No, yeah, no, I'm not saying that
yeah,
it has like an emotional weight, but still, just
no,
the graphicness. Like, I don't think even in the grittiest, like Marvel or DC comic. So I think they kind of feel a little bit ooh. You know what I
mm,
mean? Like, it's one thing having like Robin getting killed in a like very dramatic
yeah, yeah,
issue, by the Joker,
yeah,
because it's a big scene. It's
right,
like it doesn't feel like cheap.
right.
But to just have this random superpowered little girl get shot in the head,
Well,
I don't think we'd see that that often. It would be more weight to it in a Marvel DC comic, I think,
Yeah,
because they'd feel a bit.
yeah, but Valiant needs to differentiate themselves. That's I think that's why they're doing this. That's why I also had that whole thing about like Valiant where dead is dead. Because they want to differentiate themselves. They want to say, look, we're not like the other two. We're different. We're more gritty.
We're smaller.
We're quote unquote realistic. Shit happens in our comics. Shit happens in our stories, just like it happens in real life. So we're not going to, pussyfoot around this kind of stuff. And in some sense, I respect them for it because then they just tell the stories the way they're supposed to tell them. It makes hardcore even more hardcore than they are.
Hardcore.
Yeah.
Hardcore, shooting children in the face. So cool. That's the bonus missions in the hardcore game.
Yes. Shooting. Oh god, it'd be like the deleted scene from that Call of Duty game.
Oh, the airport?
Yeah, the airport scene. Yeah.
Oh boy.
Which I didn't even. I mean, okay, that's a different
Yeah.
thing, but
we've already talked so much about DC and Marvel in this podcast.
Yeah, we don't need to talk about
a totally different medium.
Yeah. So
all right, I just want to share it in my because I agree that I prefer hardcore in terms of concept and like characters. Though we only have like 2 of them left. Now.
Yeah. Now you spoiled it.
But, no, you saw them.
I know, but I told you that I asked if there were more, and you were like, I might not. I won't.
Well, from what we've been seeing, here.
Okay.
So, but I guess I wanted to share, what's called because I really like Animalia.
Oh yeah. I'm assuming that's the animal girl.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's never seen an actual animal.
Oh really?
It's like she's been. Yeah, they have it when they escape in the first issue. So it's just little caption boxes there because they come up with those caption boxes each time. They show a power.
Yeah.
But let me see here the exact quote. Wasn't it here? Or was it earlier? I guess it's later then. But they do mention something about she can shapeshift into like any animal. But she's never gotten to see any real animals because she's been locked up since like birth or something at Project Rising Spirits. So she's only seen children's books and cartoons.
Right. I mean, I was kind of wondering why they looked like cartoons like that. And I thought that maybe it was just some sort of artistic style. But yeah, that's actually a really nice concept. I mean, it would be interesting if her...
oh, here we go.
Her psion
projects a physically hard shell around her in the shape of any animal she's ever seen. Raised inside PRS, Monica Jim has only seen animals in cartoons and children's books.
Right. But that's the
I
thing.
almost feel they're a little too well drawn. Like I kind of would have liked it if it was more like a children's drawing.
Right.
Because then it would look even weirder. Because these are good cartoon drawings.
Yeah, but this is also a point where I got a little bit pissed at the Generation Zero. She killed a cop, or at least two, at least one, maybe even two. She killed, two, in some sense, innocent bystanders. Standards. What? Okay.
Yeah, bystanders.
It feels weird coming out of my mouth. Anyway, she kills these 2 innocent cops, and I feel like at that point I was like, okay, this is the kind of thing where I'm really annoyed about Harbinger. I don't know who to root for, and because like with these characters, like with Generation Zero, I'm like, I'm not gonna root for them. They're cop killers, and they're like, why should I root for them? And then
it's
Harbinger...
okay, Chris. They were racist cops.
Okay, that's okay then. Actually, I can't.
No, but doesn't that encompass you perfectly though? Here, page 42, the what's called bottom left panel.
They don't deserve to live.
Doesn't that?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, but help me. He's kind of staring. It's kind of,
right. I mean, that's the thing.
Crash in here.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing that they're just all
harbinger of murder.
Yeah, they're just. I don't know. I mean, that's why I just like. In some sense, I like a simple character. You have someone like the Eternal Warrior. He has a mission. He needs to complete it. and that's it. It's good versus evil. It's not. There's nothing in
And then
between.
there's subtleties on top of it.
Yeah, there's subtleties. Yeah, sure, but there's not like here where.
But the core is simple.
Yeah, with these guys, I'm just like, I don't like any of them. They're all assholes, and I don't like them. I don't like him, Humphrey.
No, I agree. It's something that, but it's also what I mentioned with Harbinger that I kind of like about it. That fact that it is not really good versus good. It's like this gray versus gray.
Yeah.
Because, like, again, like, well, Harada's done a lot of good for the world, but he is a megalomaniac.
Yeah.
And, Peter's right for calling him out, but he did rape a girl and, has killed people himself and, all this stuff. He's like, I don't like any of these people. So, well.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's about it in that sense.
All
but
right.
yeah, I'm just curious. I think I've gone through all the questions I had.
Mm-hmm.
So we talked, I think, about all the topics. We even went into a bit about the art. So, but what's called? What do you feel like? Not really like predictions, but after this happening here, with Harada basically winning, he's gotten the hold of the surviving Psiots. And, the Renegades really have gained nothing.
Yeah.
And Bloodshot as well, didn't really accomplish anything. So what do you feel like next? What's up next for Bloodshot, Harbinger, and... do you like... How do you feel it could continue from here?
Oh, man, I have no idea. I mean, they're all kind of broken. Yeah, they're just all... Don't really... I don't know. I mean, I think they're going to regroup and they're going to try to save the kids again. I mean, I'm pretty sure that, Harada's going to take the kids in and try to teach them his ways. And I think it's going to be more like a heist thing next where they're just trying to go get the kids together. Maybe even the Renegades and Bloodshot will work together against Harada. I don't know. Maybe Hardcore will come in and do something. I don't know.
Yeah, no, again, that's what's called, it can go any which way, and it'll be a while in that sense, though we will get more nuances for each side with their respective volumes, tie-in volumes.
Yeah.
So, but, yeah, no, I don't know, it's, but since, obviously, your ranking so far is basically Eternal Warrior #1, then you like Exo Manowar.
Yeah.
And you kind of start liking Archer and Armstrong better after the second volume?
Yes.
So then Shadow Man, or...
Yeah, Shadow Man is up there, yeah.
So, and then, I'm not sure which, I guess Harbinger at the bottom, since you really don't know who to like. Yeah. And Bloodshot's at least simple.
Yeah, Bloodshot's simple, but he's boring, and I feel like he's just a little bit too boring. He's like He's like the movie I would watch while I'm doing something else. You know what I mean? It's like he's a nice noise, background noise. Well, because like it's the movie that you've seen, or it's the comic that you've read before. It's the action hero, all that stuff. It's all good. It's not bad. It's not nothing special. But yeah, no. But seriously, Eternal Warrior #1 and Harbinger all the way down.
That's what I mean. It's let's go. I was thinking about that as we were reading. I think around volume 2 of both of them. So I was kind of thinking, man, you're really not enjoying these two as much as the others, and this is going to be the first crossover.
Right. Yeah.
So, well, I'm pretty sure you're going to like the next crossover a lot better. It's ways off. It's ways off.
Yeah. So yeah, doesn't really matter.
But I personally like that one the best so far as well, because I feel it's. I guess in a sense, I guess in a way it's kind of bad with that next one because it's a lot more classic, what you would assume it is.
Okay.
It's a lot more like Marvel and DC on all fronts. And I guess it kind of feels a bit, I wouldn't say it's a betrayal, but it's like, all right, let's just do what the other guys do. Oh my, it was successful.
Let's only ever do this again. We're supposed
to be all...
Yeah.
That's what I mean. It's like, which they haven't. The next ones after that were very different.
Oh, that's good.
But that's what I mean. It's I don't know. It just feels like, oh man, now they actually did played it safe and it worked out really well.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, that's the thing.
Oh
I
well.
always feel like you have to play it safe first, and then you take the risk. You know, I mean,
Or play it safe and play with a risk within it or something.
yeah. I mean, I feel like that's what I mean. Is like that's like with Nintendo as well. You know, for every DS, you know, there's a Wii U. Sorry.
Not Wii U.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was gonna say,
yeah,
dude. Yeah,
a
for
Wii.
every for
For
every
every
great success, there's an even better one.
yeah. No, but that's what I mean. Is like
no,
for
no,
every,
no, no, wait. The DS is more. The DS is more.
yeah, the DS is still more. But that's what I mean is that they do something. I mean, they take risks every single time, but they had this. They you know it's all like they can take the loss. That's what I mean. And I feel like if you just go
Mm,
out of the gate taking in a loss, you're not going to get anywhere. I mean, you might have the good ideas, but you don't have the people you need to reach. You know,
mm.
so I feel like
Well, yeah,
it's
you'll
yeah
get some. Yeah,
yeah. So I mean, first you make your big Hollywood movie, and then you make the indie ones. That's how it works,
exactly.
right?
All right. No, but yeah, but cool. So
Yeah.
I think that's about it. So unless you have another point,
No,
any closing comment or something that I missed, or
no. I guess we'll just call this part one, and we'll continue part two next week with the next
yeah,
issue.
that's what it's gonna be.
Yeah.
It's gonna be interesting next week because it's gonna be a lot of repetition. So I guess we'll mostly focus on what makes it different. I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah. I mean, if the episode is very quick, you know, we can always just slap on the next issue as well, and then well, we'll see. We'll see how we do it.
Hmm. Ah well. But yeah, thanks again for what's called joining me, Chris.
Of course.
That was the 11th episode of Hardcast, detailing the standalone Harbinger Wars volume.